Now, our next guest is a man of many talents. He started out in his television career as an executive TV producer before switching to the other side of the camera as the host of hit shows like Pointless and House of Games.
Well, Richard Osman is also now a multi-million best-selling author with his third instalment in the Thursday Murder Club series, The Bullet That Missed, already breaking records. And this is the book. The literary sensation joins himself now. How's that for an introduction? I mean, that's when
good.
you first decided you wanted to...
I'll take that.
OK, I'm going to give this a go. I've got this idea brewing in my head. Overall, you've sold 7 million books worldwide. The Bullet That Missed sold over 216,000 in its first 3 days.
It's incredible.
You outsold J.K. Rowling's The Casual Vacancy, so that it's the fastest adult hardback by a British author ever.
Well done.
Thank you.
What a list of
amazing.
things.
Listen, I'm happy not to say anything. You just carry on. No, sometimes I do look at the chart and think, you know, 3 years ago or 4 years ago when I started writing, and lots of people at home will be starting writing books now, you do think, well, like, I'm writing because I love it, and I'm very proud of it. I'm really proud of the books. But the success has been amazing and lovely. Every time a new one comes out, I think, oh, this is the one where people go, oh, no, he's lost it this time. And it's so lovely. Within the first week or so, you work out that people still like it. So that's...
and this one was slightly more nerve-wracking in a way because you wrote the first two back-to-back. So before you even knew how successful the first book was going to be done, the second one was there waiting in the wings. But this one, this third one, there's almost a pressure there because people know the characters, so I'm sure there's a lot of input coming from external places.
A lot of input, yeah. Any time you're on a train or a plane anywhere, people will give you their opinion on the characters in a lovely way, you know, but they all say, oh, we want more of this person, more of that person. And then you sit down and you think, oh, I've got to give everyone everything they want. Then I think you have to remember, no, you've got to start it like you started the first one, which is nobody knows about it. It's you and the characters, write a great story, you know, a few laughs, a few tears, and you just have to shut the door and just sit there, just me, occasionally the cat, and just get on with writing.
So what is it then? What do you think that... I mean, of course, there's no magic formula to any great success, but what is it that your characters and your stories have got?
Well, we love a murder mystery, don't we? You know, we're the country of Agatha Christie, and, you know, all around the world, you know, people talk to me about Agatha Christie when they talk about this book. We love a mystery, we love to laugh, we do love to cry as well. But the lovely thing with a crime book is we know in the end there's going to be a solution to the problem. But we want to be with characters that we love. And these 4 characters, they're all in their 70s. They're all, you know, amateur detectives who live together in a retirement village. And people love the 4 of them together. They're like a sort of pensioner A-team. But also everyone's sort of identifies with one or other of them as well. So people are Joyce people or Elizabeth people or Ron people or Ibrahim people.
So we should, I mean, obviously, we would never give anything away at all, but just to sort of set the scene a little bit, because this is 2 murders, 10 years apart, and Elizabeth, this time, is sort of having to... There's something that makes her wrestle with her conscience somewhat. Yes.
The basic setup is a silver-haired television host and his glamorous co-host, weirdly. But listen, not based on anybody. But yes, it's based in that world of local news, and Joyce really wants to meet the guy who's presented the local news for 50 years. We've all got someone who's presented a local news for 50 years. And, so she just really wants to meet him, but, they then get embroiled in this mystery. Yeah, and on the other hand, Elizabeth, who was a former spy, someone comes out of her past, and she essentially is told to kill somebody. Otherwise, something awful will happen, and she has to try and find a way out of that. So, you know, there's lots of fun in there, but there's lots of serious stuff as well, and there's lots of action, and it's I mean, so far people seem to love the third one.
I absolutely love your books so much.
You both get a mention in this one.
I know.
Do you remember last time I was on, I was writing, and I said, oh, Holly's got a mention in this book. And I saw the look on your face.
I know, I was gutted. I was gutted.
And I went home and said, you get a mention as well.
It's a real honour. It really is. Thank you.
So, obviously, the book's incredible, the success fantastic, the numbers unbelievable, and then you sort of... The movie industry's beginning to sniff around a wee bit, and I'm sure you might have been thinking, well, they sort of know who I am, and it might be a bit of interest. And then up comes Spielberg, who I'm assuming doesn't know much about.
He weirdly does not know who I am. Listen, he watches This Morning, he does not watch Pointless, I think. So he's making the film. The film industry is ridiculous. I mean, who knows what goes on with that, so I try and stay out of it. But they're casting it at the moment, which is fascinating. So it's gone out to actors, literally, as we speak, to be filmed.
Who's your dream for?
Well, it's a good question, isn't it? Because to me, they're sort of very real people. Yeah, you listen, in the streets, I've said before, people just, across the high road will shout, Helen Mirren!
I mean, yes.
You're like, sorry, excuse me? And I always wonder what other people must think.
Judi Dench has to be Joyce.
Yeah, it's interesting. Julie Walters, people like Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Because America, you know...
I mean, it's a great cast already,
I think
isn't
they like
it?
Americans, but who can do an English accent. It will be set in England. That's the good news. That's the guarantee they've given. So
do you have to sort of, when it comes to the film sort of thing, you go, right, well, I've written this incredible book, now I'm going to hand it over to you, or is it...
I don't say to them, I've written this incredible book.
Well, I'm saying to you, you've written this incredible book.
Steve, I've written this incredible book, don't mess it up. Honestly, I really leave them to it. But, you know, like anything, you've got to do the thing that you're best at. So I write the next book, and they're good at making films. You know, and I don't want to spend the next year sort of looking over every single line and just think, well, I wouldn't have written it like that. So I trust that they're brilliant, and I can't wait just to stand on a red carpet and see who's in it.
You, obviously, you've said there's no end to these, so at the moment you're carrying on.
Yeah.
And are you writing number...
I'm writing number 4 at the moment. Yeah, literally at the moment. I'm already behind, but I've already murdered 2 people. So that's
well done.
That's the good news. Thank you.
And so you are then, as if life wasn't busy enough, and we'll come to personal life in just a moment, you're starting another series, another book series. This is a father and daughter-in-law who own their own private investigation company.
Yeah, so I've done the first 4, or I'm going to do the first 4 Thursday Murder Club books. There will be more in the future. But I wanted to do quite a traditional detective duo. I want something where someone can sit at a desk and someone can knock on the door and just say, here's your plot for this book. Because Thursday Murder Club, lots of shenanigans have to happen for there to be another murder. Whereas if you're a private detective, you know, someone comes to you. Yeah, so it's about a retired cop and his daughter-in-law, who's a close protection officer. She's a bodyguard, essentially, for billionaires. The father-in-law is retired, has no interest in ever solving a murder again. The daughter-in-law has a lot of interest, so they form a detective agency called We Solve Murders.
So is it the same sort of... Because you mentioned 4 words, which I thought absolutely right when you were talking about that formula. Kind, warm, bite and wit. And is that something you'll carry forward into that next
series? I hope so. I hope so. I mean, that's the way I see the world. I like to see the kind, empathetic people win. But also, I like them to be quite real, if you know what I mean. People talk about cosy crime, but none of these are kind of set in a sweet shop by the sea and, you know, vicars on bicycles. You know, I try and make them in the real world as well. So this will be a bit more kind of, bit more Da Vinci Code-esque, a bit more sort of running around the world.
That sounds amazing.
But still with the same sort of very British humour as well.
Well, Pointless, you've said goodbye to. You're still doing House of Games. I imagine that's because it holds a very special place in your heart, because that's where you met your wife-to-be, Ingrid.
I did, yeah.
The big day's coming up.
It is, yeah. So she came, Ingrid came on House of Games, and I knew who she was by social media. We had never met. Yeah. So I'd never met her. I had a little twinkle in my eye, I'll admit that. So she came on, so we filmed that day together. So our first date is literally completely on camera, the whole thing. After the show, I was thinking, how can I ask her for a drink? This is difficult. But Matthew Pinsent was on the same show, and because he's such a good bloke, he just, we're all going for a drink, aren't we? I thought, thank you. Thank you, Sir Matthew Pinsent. And so he sort of, we all met up, and we're getting...
And did it happen for both?
Yeah, immediately. Passed numbers across, went on a date and been together ever since. She's just come back on. She's on this week on the Champion Show on House of Games, trying to win golden prizes with my face on them, which is...
that's hilarious.
Poor woman.
Oh, well, she won the ultimate prize, didn't she?
I suppose so.
And so as well as all of this, then, in that case, you're planning it, then that's within the next few weeks.
Oh, yes, I'm writing murders and planning a wedding at the same time. Which, you know what, very similar. Book. Similar in some ways. That is a good book. The Wedding Planner, that's a good one. So, yeah, and then Christmas as well. So at the moment, everything's very busy. But, you know, sitting there writing the book is the key for me.
Well, it's lovely to see you. Thank you.
Number 3 in the series. There you go.